Okay, we'll start with prayers. Om Agyan, Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Uta Padakamalam, Shri Guruna Vaishnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam, साधवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we are discussing from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So in last chapter we discussed mainly three topics. First was Mangalacharan from first to 10th verse. Rupa Goswami offering his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Guru Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as Krishna and all the other Vaishnavas. And then after that, second section, we saw the definition of Shuddha Bhakti, Anyavilashita Shunyam, Uttama Bhakti. And then last section, after that, we saw the specialities of Bhakti, the six specialities of Bhakti. So we saw the how Bhakti is special compared to other paths, and two specialities manifest in each stage of Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, there is moksha, klesha ghani, the destruction of klesha. So what is klesha? Rupa Goswami defined. He defined as avidya, papa bij, and papa. These three are the main components of klesha, and these three are destroyed in sadhana bhakti. Then bhava bhakti, sorry, one more component in the second speciality, which is manifesting in the sadhana bhakti, is shubhada, manifestation of good qualities. And then we saw in the stage of bhava bhakti, moksha lagutakrit, the practical realization that moksha is very small, that comes. Theoretical understanding may be there before, but the practical understanding comes only at the stage of bhava. And sudurlabha, bhava bhakti is very, very rare, with attachment or without attachment. Both Rupa Goswami mentioned. And then prema bhakti, two manifestations of the specialities. One is Shri Krishna Akarshini, it is attracting Shri Krishna, and Sandrananda Visheshatma, it is condensed bliss, prema bhakti, like that. So this was the discussion we had in the previous chapter that covered NOD introduction, preface, as well as the chapter 1 of NOD. Now what we are going to see the next section, Sadhana Bhakti, will cover chapter 2 to chapter 16 in NOD. And in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this will cover the second wave of eastern section, that is Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. So anybody has any questions before we start from the last chapter of NOD or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, whatever we studied till now? Any questions are there? Okay. If not, then we will continue. So as we have discussed, eastern section is defining The Bhakti Bheda, Samanya Bhakti Bheda. That is the title Rupa Goswami has given to Eastern section. Okay. So the Eastern section is defined as the Samanya. Okay. Bhakti Bhed Nirupakaha. Okay. In that first chapter is Samanya Bhakti. Okay. So Bhakti Bhed Nirupaka is the Eastern section. Basically divisions of Bhakti. Okay. And in that first wave was Samanya Bhakti. Okay. What is Bhakti in general? That means Uttama Bhakti without any classification. And now the classification starts. So first among the Bheda is Sadhana Bhakti. Okay, this is not Sadhana Bhakti, it is Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. Just like we go from one place to other place, we use some commute, some sadhan. Correct. So similarly, this is called sadhan. Okay. A commute for going from one place to another place. Where to where we are going? We are going from the current stage to Bhava Bhakti. That's why its name is Sadhana. Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. And we understood last time, Rupa Goswami has written this. And Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion also we are studying. So this, as I told, it will span from chapter 2 to chapter 16. This will be the span of Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. The second wave, basically. We'll go from chapter 2 to chapter 16 in NOD. So now first we will see the chapter 2. So before we start Srila Rupa Goswami's obeisances to Srila Rupa Goswami, we will repeat. So he had mentioned obsessed by a desire to benefit all the devotees of the Lord, the esteemed author. So who is that author? Srila Rupa Goswami compiled. What did he compile? This remarkable work, that is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And what is this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? We defined last time. Bhakti, what is Bhakti? We defined. What is Rasa? We understood. What is Amrita? We understood. And the Sindhu, the ocean of this. Okay. Bhakti Rasa Saeva Amritaha Tasya Sindhu. That was a Anvaya. Okay. Bhakti Rasa, the Bhakti Rasa itself, Saeva Amritaha, is itself the Amrita. He is itself the nectar. Okay. Bhakti Rasa Saeva Amritaha. Tasya Sindhu, the ocean of that, is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. So this itself the Amrita. Okay. Who is Amrita? Bhakti Rasa itself is Amrita. Okay. And the Sindhu of this Amrita, okay, is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. So basically, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is what? The nectar of. Okay. So ocean of nectar it is. Okay. It's the ocean of Amrita. What is that Amrita? That Amrita is Bhakti Rasa. Okay. This is how we are defined. Okay. Bhakti Rasa Sayev Amritaha. That itself is Amrita. And the ocean of this nectar is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. This is what has been told. And then using, how did he make this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? How did he bring it up? So he says using the rasa presented in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So rasa was already presented in Shrimad Bhagavatam by Srila Vyasa Muni. Okay, in Shrimad Bhagavatam. But this rasa, when it appeared within the lotus bud of his heart. Okay. So in the heart of Rupa Goswami, the lotus. So in that lotus bud of his heart, yeah, this lotus, when this rasa appeared, Then that rasa, Rupa Goswami manifested as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. How did it manifest in his heart? By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We discussed last time that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself established this rasa in his heart at the Dashashwamedh Ghat for 10 days. Correct. So there he actually established it in his heart, and there Rupa Goswami got it from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he manifested the whole ocean. That is Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. Okay. And this is what Srila Jiva Goswami has offered us obeisances or pranam to Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay. So last time we were discussing about the ocean and the rivers, comparing it with the rivers were compared to what? Does anybody remember what was the river compared to?
other path, Gyan, Ashtanga,
Yeah,
Samya.
the paths of liberation, basically, other paths of liberation. Correct. And the devotees were compared to,
Makar,
so
sharks.
they were compared to the sharks, the makara. So they frolic in the ocean, they play in the ocean. That was what Rupa Goswami said. Okay, they frolic in the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. Okay, Bhakti Rasa ocean. They frolic in the ocean, they are playing in the ocean. And they never want to go into the rivers of liberation. Okay, and then three things we discussed, that how uh, they overcome the Kal Jal Bhiyah. Okay, the net of the time. Okay, Kal Jal Bhiyah, they overcome. Why do they overcome? Because they swim deep into the ocean, like that. Okay, so this we discussed last time. Okay, so now the first shloka, the first verse, Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, so he says Sa Bhakti Sadhanam Bhavah Prema Cheti Tridha Udita. So he is going to define this sadhana bhakti now. This whole chapter, this whole wave is about sadhana bhakti. So before defining it, he says sa bhakti, that bhakti which was defined earlier. Okay, which was bhakti defined earlier in the previous chapter? Which bhakti was defined?
Vaidhi sadhana.
Uttama, Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama bhakti was defined. Yeah, sadhana bhakti not yet started. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti we had seen. Are you practicing Shuddha bhakti? That we had seen. But Rupa Goswami had not defined it. Now he will define in this chapter. But Sa Bhakti refers to that Bhakti. Which Bhakti? Which are defined. Okay, that Bhakti. And Sa refers to a feminine. Bhakti is obviously feminine. So that Bhakti, which is that Bhakti which was defined earlier, is Uttama. Okay, Uttama Bhakti. Okay. So this Uttama Bhakti was defined. Sa Bhakti, that Bhakti, Tridha, has three types. Tridha Udita has three types. Okay, what are the three types it has? First, sadhanam, called sadhana bhakti. Second, bhavaha, bhava bhakti. Third, prema bhakti. Okay, so there are three types of bhakti. Which bhakti here? Uttama bhakti. So now somebody will tell, Prabhu, I actually, the Uttama bhakti, Shuddha bhakti, pure bhakti is very, very pure. It will start from bhav only, na? How before that it will start? How can you say somebody who has just come into bhakti, he has just got shraddha? Correct. Sadhana means what? From shraddha till which stage? From shraddha
Anartha
to which
nivritti.
stage? Acha. Then between bhava and anarth nivriti, what remains will go where?
Nishtha,
Sadhana till where?
Sadhana 2.
Asakti.
Anartha nivritti.
Shraddha to where? Sadhana bhakti will be Shraddha to which place?
Anartha nivritti.
Anartha nivritti.
Okay, okay. If we say Anartha Nivritti, then the next question will come. Where the other stages will go? Which bhakti? Because next Rupa Goswami has told bhava only. Where the in between will go? What are in between? Remaining after Anartha Nivritti?
Nishtha, Ruchi,
Nishta.
and Asakti.
Yeah, Nishtha Ruchi Asakti. So where they will go? Will they go into Prema? Or where they will go? That is a natural question. Where should they go? Where is sadhana bhakti from where to where? Okay, so that will be defined in this chapter. Okay, the characteristics of sadhana bhakti, and it will be told that all the stages till asakti, all are under sadhana bhakti only. Okay, so starting from Shraddha till asakti, all are sadhana bhakti. So that means the person who has started practicing bhakti is practicing which bhakti at the stage of Shraddha? That will be
Sadhana.
sadhana bhakti.
Sadhana.
So the sadhana bhakti is under which bhakti?
Vidhi Sadhana Bhakti.
No.
Uttam.
Uttama
Uttama
Bhakti.
Bhakti.
Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, till now Rupa Goswami is not defined. Okay, that we just saw in the Are you practicing Shuddha Bhakti like that? That we just saw. But what has been defined till now, if we have to say, Sadhana Bhakti is under
Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama Bhakti.
Uttam Bhakti.
What is the reference? Why are we saying Sadhana Bhakti is under Uttama Bhakti? Where is the reference? We should speak based on Shastra, right? Where is the reference for this? Why are you saying Shraddha is also under Uttama Bhakti? Just now he started bhakti. How it will become Uttama Bhakti, highest bhakti? Where is the reference for this? The reference is this shloka only. This is only the reference. Why? Because what did Rupa Goswami say? Sa bhakti, that bhakti is how many types? Three types. Uttama bhakti itself has three types. Correct. So now we can write like this. Uttama bhakti has three types. What are those? What is first one? Sadhana bhakti. What is second one?
Bhava.
Bhava bhakti. What is third one? Prema. Okay. So if somebody asks, how are you saying this? That Shraddha also is coming under Uttama Bhakti. Then we have to show them this verse. And commentary. The very first line Jiva Goswami will say this. Okay. Yeah. So this is Jiva Goswami's commentary. We will read now. Yeah. Chaitanya Prabhu, you want to read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Jiva Goswami's commentary that Uttama Bhakti is now considered with three divisions for clear understanding, though actually it should be understood that there are only two divisions, sadhana and sadhya. Sadhana Bhakti has two types, Vaidhi and Raganuga. Sadhya Bhakti has eight types, Bhav, Prem, Pranay, Sneha, Rag, Man, Anurag, and Mahabhav. Sadhya Bhakti is that bhakti in which the influence of the heart, the emotions of the Atma becomes prominent.
Yeah. So Jiva Goswami writes the very first line. What did he write? That Uttama Bhakti. So that means what we discussed previously, Sa, the meaning of the word Sa is what? Uttama
Uttama
Bhakti.
Bhakti.
That was correct. So we were not wrong to say that Bhakti which was defined earlier was Uttama Bhakti, not anything else. So we were correct. And he is also saying he is now considered with how many divisions? Three divisions. What are the three divisions? In that Sadhana, Bhava and Prema are there. Correct.
Yes.
These are the three divisions. So he says that sadhana bhakti also should be included in which bhakti? Uttama bhakti. Correct.
Yes.
And starts from where? Shraddha. So if anybody asks, how are you making this baseless statement That Shraddha also is under Uttama Bhakti. It's very, very high level Bhakti, Prabhu. Uttama Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, very high level. How are you saying it is Uttama Bhakti? This person has so many anarthas in his heart. Just now he started Bhakti. How he is practicing Uttama Bhakti? So this is the reference. Jiva Goswami's commentary and Rupa Goswami's verse. Okay. So somebody may ask, oh, so many anarthas are there in his heart. Still he is practicing Uttama Bhakti. Yeah, he is practicing because that Uttama Bhakti only will purify anarthas. Na? Anartha Nivritti will happen by this Bhakti only. You are not going to do. So don't take tension. Okay. This Bhakti he has taken shelter. That Bhakti will only give him relief from his anarthas. Okay. So for clear understanding, it should be divided into two parts. Now Jiva Goswami is saying for simplicity of understanding, let us make only two parts. Sadhana and Sadhya. That means Sadhya which will happen in Sadhya. What will come? Bhava and Prem.
Bhava and Prem.
Yeah. What is the meaning of Sadhya? Sadhya means that which is to be attained by Sadhana. Okay. Just like we have Praman and Prameya. Prameya is that which to be proved. Praman is proof. Okay. We are proving something is called Praman. That which is to be proved is called Prameya. Similarly, Sadhya, that which is to be attained. Okay. That which is our goal. Okay. To attain that goal, what we are using? We are using this sadhana.
Sadhana.
Okay. This is a practice. By doing Uttama Bhakti practice, we will reach Sadhya, Bhava and Prem. That is what Jiva Goswami is saying. Okay, so now he is saying, okay, this sadhana bhakti has two types, Vaidhi and Raganuga. It will come in this chapter later. After 3-4 verses, Rupa Goswami will say this, that this bhakti has two types, Vaidhi and Sadhana, sorry, Vaidhi and Raganuga. And now considering the second one, this was the first sadhana bhakti, second type, Sadhya bhakti, which are the two parts, Bhava and Prem. Correct. This has all 8 types total. Bhav and Prem are there only, but also more are there in this, which generally is included into Prema only. All these things remaining, all are included generally in Prema only. When we say in general, Pranaya, Sneha, Rag, Man, Anurag, Mahabhav, all are generally included into Prema only word.
Prem.
So when we say Bhav and Prema, Prema means what? All these things later. Pranaya, Sneha, Rag, Man, Anurag, Mahabhav. All this will come under Prema only.
Prem.
Okay. So is it wrong to say there are only two parts of Sadhya, Bhava and Prema? No, not wrong. But if you want to tell in detail, this, like somebody has a big name. Okay, father's name is also there in middle name. Then there is a grandfather name also. Then there is some other name also. Then there is caste name also. But sometimes when you have to call him, you just call by his initial name. Correct, like that. So Prema represents all the other thing by Uplakshana. Now he's saying about this Sadhya Bhakti, which is our goal, is that Bhakti which is the influence, in which the influence of heart, Chitta, the emotions of the Atma become prominent. Okay. So basically two things. That is the Samvit and Haladini Shakti. These two become very, very prominent. So that we will see more in the third chapter. Third wave and NOD 17 and 18 chapter. About this Sadhya Bhakti. What we just now I said, right? That the Haladini and Samvit Shakti will become very prominent. That detail will come in this. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I just want to one question. First time I heard this word emotions of Atma. So how can I understand what is this meaning?
Yeah, I told just now. It will be discussed more in detail in that third wave.
Okay.
Emotions and Atma, what is the meaning? To discuss more in third wave, we will discuss there. Okay, for now you can just understand as we had discussed previously that there are 5 components of rasa. Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvik bhav, Pravichari bhav, Sthai bhav. Correct, na? All these five together come to become rasa. Okay, so this emotions in the heart refer to Sthai bhav and all these other emotions which come and go. Okay, emotion, primary emotion is there with Krishna, that I am his servant, I am his friend, I am his parent, I am his lover. Okay, any of the rasa. These are emotions. Is it okay, bro?
Yes, yes, understood.
Yeah, so more detail will come there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. But for clarity purposes, bhav has to be classified separately as a third type. Why is it? Why is that? This is because there are some very important differences between sadhana and bhav and prem. What are they?
So now, Jiva Goswami told that let there be two types, sadhana and sadhya. One is the practice, other one is by the practice what we will attain, whatever we will attain, that bhav and prem. But here it is being said now, for clarity purpose, bhav has to be classified separately. Okay, so this is the take of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this, that for clarity we should keep bhava separately. Okay, for easy understanding we can do what Jiva Goswami told, two categories, practice and goal. That's it. But for more clarity we can have three. What are the three? Sadhana, bhava and prem. These are the three categories. Why? And another thing he is asking, there are some important differences between all the three. It's not that bhav and prem are having same categorization or they are having same characteristics. They have different characteristics. What are they? Now he will say. Okay, please read.
Why can't bhav be clubbed with prem? There are still some impurities present in bhava due to traces of serious aparadh.
Yeah, read the translation.
Those are called practitioners, sadhaka, who have developed rati for Krishna and are qualified to see Krishna directly, but who have not completely extinguished the anarthas.
Yeah, so now this is a verse from a later chapter of Bhakti Samri Sindhu. Okay, so but this need to be clarified. So basically, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti is making a very important point that in bhava there are some impurities present. What is the meaning of this? In prema, these impurities are not present. Okay, I hope this is clear. This is an important point. In bhava, there are little bit impurities there still, but those impurities are not present in prema at all. Okay, that's why they have to be separate.
Like Jad
Okay,
Bharat, Prabhuji.
yeah, Jada Bharat, correct. So there are some impurities still in between. So he quotes a verse now. He says there are, sorry, those are called practitioners, sadhaka, sadhakah, parikirtitah. Okay, they are called sadhaka. Who? Those who have developed rati. Rati appears at which stage? Bhava. Rati for whom? Krishna. Okay. Utpanna ratayah. And are qualified to see Krishna directly. Krishna Sakshat. Kritau Yogyah. Directly they can see Krishna. But who have not completely extinguished the anarthas. Okay, complete the anarthas are not gone. Still some impurities are there. Okay, so why the word sadhaka is used? This sadhaka does not mean sadhana bhakti because he already attained ratin, bhav stage. Why sadhaka he is called? Because he is still to attain prema. So from bhava he will attain prema. That's why he is called sadhaka. Okay, this is a reference that he has impurities. Okay, read this.
Why can't bhav be clubbed with prem? Those who experience no suffering at all who perform all actions while taking shelter of Krishna and who always taste the happiness of continuous prem are known as the perfected devotees. The rasa doesn't fully manifest at the stage of bhava.
Yeah. So first he gave definition of bhava. Basically, what are the symptoms of bhava? There are some impurities there in bhava, and still the person can see Krishna. Sometimes it was told. Okay, if you see here, not always. See here, what he told. Uh, who are qualified to see Krishna. Krishna Sakshat Krito Yogya. Okay, but not always. Okay, that will come in the third wave. Okay, not here. But later it will come. They cannot see always. But at the stage of prema, they can always see Krishna. And what are other characteristics of prema? Avigyata, akhila klesha. All the types of klesha which was mentioned. Avidya, papa bijam, papam, akhila. Completely they are avigyata, unknown to them. That means at the stage of bhava, little bit is there. Okay. So they have no suffering at all. That means at bhava, little bit is there. Okay. Who perform all actions while taking shelter of Krishna. Sada Krishna Ashrita Kriyaha. At the same time, who always taste the happiness of continuous prema. There is continuous darshan and prema. They are known as perfected devotees. Means Siddha. Siddha means what? Prema stage. Okay. And another point now here is said that because there are some impurities at the stage of bhava, there are still some impurities. So because of what? Because of this, what happens? Rasa doesn't fully manifest. It manifests, but not fully. Okay. So why are we studying this? Because question is why we cannot club bhava with prema as Jiva Goswami told. That was just a very simple understanding. But why actually it cannot be done? Why for more clarity we need to keep the three divisions? So that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that there are some subtle differences in these two. Okay, bhava and prem. Yeah. Yeah, please read.
Then why can't bhav be clubbed with sadhana? In bhav, there is direct realization of the Lord, though it is intermittent, but in sadhana bhakti, there is no direct realization of the Lord. Also, bhav is the goal of sadhana bhakti. Therefore, bhav cannot be clubbed with sadhana bhakti also. Hence, it is more appropriate to have three types of bhakti and not two for the purpose of clarity.
Hmm. So now somebody may say, okay, I understood bhav cannot be clubbed with prema because prema is having no impurities. One can always see Krishna. Bhava has some impurities. Understood. So let us club bhava with sadhana only then. Correct. It has not some impurities. Let us make it combined with sadhana only then. So Vishwanath Jadakur says, no, that is also not possible. Why? Because at the stage of bhava, there is direct realization. Sakshat Krishna Kritau Yogya. Sakshat Krishna can be realized and seen. But in sadhana, it is not at all possible. So that's why it cannot be clubbed with sadhana also. It has a different characteristics than sadhana. Like suppose you are counting cows. Okay. So when you are counting cows, you cannot add one horse in that. This is one cow, this is two cow, this is third cow. You cannot add a horse as a cow. Why? Because horse is a different species. Similarly, when you are counting the bhav and sadhana in types of Uttama Bhakti, they are not same, so they cannot be counted together. Okay. So they have some different characteristics, so they should be counted separately like that. So bhava is having direct realization, sadhana is no direct realization, so they are separate. Also, the goal of sadhana bhakti is bhava. By practicing sadhana bhakti, we want to attain bhava, sadhya. Okay, now the definition will come in the next verse. Rupa Goswami will say the goal of sadhana bhakti, The definition itself of sadhana bhakti is that which is done to attain bhava actually. If somebody is not thinking that I want to attain bhava and he is doing bhakti, then that is not sadhana bhakti only, he says. Okay, somebody who is thinking that I want to clean my heart or I want to become liberated. If these thoughts are there, they are not sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is that which is done for attaining bhava. Okay, that like the definition only is given. Paribhasha. Okay. So therefore, bhava cannot be clubbed with sadhana bhakti also. Hence, it is appropriate to have three types. What Rupa Goswami said. Rupa Goswami also said same thing, na? Three types. So Vishwanath Thakur Chakravarti Thakur is again coming to Rupa Goswami and saying that let there be three types only. Because sadhana cannot be clubbed with bhava. Okay. Okay. Any questions still now?
Prabhuji, one question.
Yeah.
So why sadhana bhakti's goal is not prema and only bhav?
Yeah. Indirectly it is prema. Because after bhava, prema only will be coming, na? But just like when somebody is studying the first standard, second standard, okay, somebody may say his goal is to pass 10th standard or his goal is to become engineer. Correct. Then why not say that he has to pass second standard, third standard, fourth standard? That all he has to pass surely. Correct. So like that, in that sense, it is being defined. What is the immediate next goal like that? Okay. So somebody who has to pass or become an engineer, he has to pass, let's say, 12th standard. So we are saying first standard goal is 12th standard. Then after 12th standard, the goal is engineering or getting into IIT, let's say. So first standard, the goal is to pass 12th standard or 10th standard, let's say. Whatever. So you understand, immediate the next goal is being said. Okay. Indirectly, that is also the goal, prema. The goal of bhava is surely prema, like that. Okay. Okay. Any other question?
Prabhuji, bhav is beyond your anartha nivritti. So then,
Correct.
how come there are still impurities?
Bhava is beyond anartha. So how come there are impurities? Yeah. Good question. Yeah. So last time we were discussing anartha stage is passed. No? That does not mean all the anartha is gone. Okay. At the stage of nishtha also, there is some anarthas. After nishtha, it will be reduced at the ruchi stage. Then still less asakti. Then still less at bhav. Correct. There will be still anarthas. Okay. So last time when we were discussing, we discussed about aparadhotta anartha. So generally the anartha which remain at the stage of bhav is which have come or which are born from aparad. Okay. So aparad, those we do like nam aparad, vaishnav aparad, all these things, they only contribute to the anartha at the stage of bhav. Okay. So there are four sources we discussed last time. One is from Sukritis, second is from Dushkritis, third is from Bhakti itself, like pride or position. Okay. Not by practice of Bhakti, but being in Bhakti so many years, we automatically get these things, which can be anartha. But these all anarthas go away before the bhav stage. What remains only is aparadhottha, that which is rising from aparad. Okay. Like the case of Bharat Maharaj. Okay, so it is mentioned previous life he had done some aparad because of which he had some anarthas and attraction toward deer like that. And obviously that is more specific in the sense that it is arranged by the Lord, but generally it's very exceptional that at the stage of bhava something will be there. Okay, but like an Narad boy case also, Krishna himself, Vishnu himself told him that Durdarsho ham kuyogi nam. Okay, and there are still kalmasha or impurity in your heart. So one glance he got and then Vishnu he left. And he told in next life only you will see. So there are still another stage of bhava, but very, very less. So like we can see like this pyramid is there. No? So at the stage of anartha nivritti, sorry, shraddha, there are more anarthas. Then as we go ahead towards bhav, the anarthas become less and less. Okay. So it doesn't become suddenly zero at the stage of anartha nivritti. There still is there some anartha at the stage of anartha nivritti. Okay, which remain and then it goes on. Is it clear?
Yes, man.
Okay, anybody else has any question? Okay, then we will go ahead. So next Rupa Goswami is defining now the sadhana bhakti. Okay, the definition of sadhana bhakti. Now he told first verse that bhakti has three types. That bhakti means uttama bhakti has three types. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti. Clear. Second verse he will tell what is this sadhana bhakti definition. What is the meaning of definition? Paribhasha. Paribhasha, the definition of definition is that it should describe in such a way that the characteristics which it is describing is not present in any other entity. Okay. Definition should be such that whatever the definition is given, it should not be present anywhere else. Like suppose I want to define what is cow. I will say cow is, let's say, four-leg animal. Is it correct definition of cow?
No, incomplete.
It is not definition of cow because there are many other things which have four legs. Correct. So what I said, the definition of definition is it should be such that it should not be present anywhere else. Correct. But these four legs are found in so many people, so many, not people, so many animals. Correct. Cat also has, rat also has four legs. So how do we define then cow? So it is said, okay, that which has a hump and this that which has a dewlap. Means here there is skin hanging down. So these two are the distinct features of cow. Okay, which will not be found in other things. Okay, the camel may have a hump, but it will not have dewlap. Some other entity may have a dewlap, but they will not have a hump. Okay, so it's not that we just say something about something, some object, and it becomes definition. Not like that. Very, very important part of study is this paribhasha. Means to it should not have the four faults. Basically, it is told ati vyapti, avyapti. Ati vyapti means like I told, four legs. Animal with four legs. That includes many other things. That is ati vyapti. If many more things are included. Avyapti means it is not found anywhere. I say cow is that which flies in air. There is nothing like that. Okay, there is nothing like that. A cow which flies in air. That is also not possible. Or like this, there are four things which we have to see. And the most important thing is those characteristics which are told should not be present in anything else. Okay, like I told for cow, hump as well as dewlap. Okay. Now Rupa Goswami is defining. Similarly, Uttama Bhakti was defined. The characteristics of Uttama Bhakti were what? It should be anukulyena, first thing. It should be done with favorable. Then it should also be having other two characteristics. What are they? Anyabhilashita, shunyam. And what one more? Jnana karmadi anavritam. This wherever it is found, it is Uttama Bhakti. Like that Rupa Goswami said. Practice of this, Anushilan. Constantly, practice of this is called, these three things practiced constantly is called Uttama Bhakti. This will not be found anywhere else. If it is found anywhere else, then that is also Uttama Bhakti. Okay. It will not be found anywhere else, and if it is being found, then it is Uttama Bhakti. Be rest assured, it is Uttama Bhakti. Okay, that's how definition is given. Though this is the definition of definition. Okay, first it should define those characteristics which is not present anywhere else. It should not have ati vyapti. It should not have avyapti. It should not be having abhava dosh also. It's not like flying cow. It never flies. Okay, like that. So this is the definition of definition. So now he will define sadhana bhakti. So what is the definition of sadhana bhakti? He says kriti, sadhya, Bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana abhida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. Yeah, Prabhu, please read the meaning.
You right?
Chaitanya Prabhu.
Okay.
Chaitanya Prabhu was reading. Okay,
Yeah.
he is not.
Action of the
Yeah, okay.
senses which produces the stage of bhava is called sadhana bhakti. This attained state of bhava bhakti is an eternal sthai bhav which is not created but simply manifest within the soul by the spiritual energy of the Lord.
Yeah. So he says the definition of sadhana bhakti now is kriti sadhya. First of all, it is accomplished by kriti, like we have dushkriti, sukriti, good actions, bad actions. Correct? Sukriti, dushkriti. So similarly, kriti means action of the senses. Okay, like karmendriyas. We have na karmendriya. So by that we do karma. So action of the karmendriyas, also gyanendriyas here. Okay. So action we want to do of the senses for attaining sadhya, for attaining what? Sadhya is bhava. Okay. What is to be attained? Sadhya is sadhya. I told na earlier. What is the meaning of sadhya? Goal or that which we want to attain. Praman is proof. Prameya is that which we want to prove. Correct. Similarly, sadhana is practice, and that which we want to attain by that practice is sadhya. So what we want to attain? Sadhya. Bhava is the sadhya. Okay, bhavet. Okay, action of the senses become bhava or which produce the stage of bhava. So here one should not think that it is producing something spiritual because nothing spiritual can be produced. So what is the meaning? Sometimes these kind of words are used, produced, birth. What is the meaning of that? Manifestation. It manifests from sadhana. Okay, from sadhana what is manifested is the stage of bhava. Okay, so wherever this characteristic is found, that action of senses are happening and which produces bhava, that is called as sadhana bhakti. This is the definition. Okay, anything which is done to produce or manifest as bhava is called sadhana. This is the definition of sadhana. This will not be found anywhere else, and if it is found anywhere else, that is also sadhana. Okay, and sadhana bhakti is part of which bhakti?
Uttama bhakti.
Hmm. It is itself part of Uttama Bhakti. Why it should be part of Uttama Bhakti? Because a unripe mango only will give rise to a ripe mango. Now somebody may ask from where mango is coming in this. Because Uttama Bhakti can only give rise to another form of Uttama Bhakti. What is that other form? Bhava. So Sadhana Bhakti is like the unripe green mango. Okay. Unripe green mango. So that only will become a ripe mango. Correct. Is it possible to start with a unripe orange and go to a ripe mango? That is not possible. Correct. So that's why if somebody says sadhana bhakti is not uttama bhakti, it is nishkam karma. Some people may give this. What we are doing is nishkam karma. We are doing. We have not yet started bhakti. Some people will say, yeah, we are doing karma. We are going sakam karma. We are trying to enjoy our senses. So all these things many people will say. But now Jiva Goswami will give very nice analogy he will give of the sacrifice. Okay. That how the activities before the sacrifice also are part of sacrifice only. Similarly, the activities before the Uttama Bhakti level, basically not Uttama Bhakti level, Bhava Bhakti level is reached, is also spiritual. It's also part of Uttama Bhakti, like that he will say. Okay, and this unripe mango and all, this example is given by Narottam Das Thakur in his book called Prarthana. Okay, he has two books, Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. So in that he says, unripe mango will only become a ripe mango. Okay. this is the definition of what? Sadhana bhakti. Okay. Now, one extra thing he is saying that this attained state of bhava, now whatever the person will attain from sadhana, by doing this sadhan, he will attain some bhav, right? So whatever this bhav is being attained, where is it present? So he is saying this attained state of bhav is eternal, nitya. It is nitya. It is nitya siddha. It is eternally perfect, or it is eternal, which is not created. Okay, that's why I told anything spiritual is not produced, but it manifests. It's not created. If it is created, then what is the problem? What will happen? It will also be destroyed. Anything which is created will also be destroyed. Okay, that is the nature. So similarly, he says, Rupa Goswami, that sadhana will become bhava, and that bhava is eternal. But it simply manifests within the soul by the spiritual energy of the Lord. Hridi prakatyam. It manifests into the heart of the person. Okay. It is eternally present with Krishna, and it manifests into the heart of the person in his heart. It manifests. Okay. This is called the definition of sadhana bhakti. Okay, that bhakti which is done to attain with the goal of bhava, to attain bhava. Okay, so please note here two very important things Rupa Goswami told in the definition. First, there should be action of senses. Okay, two characteristics of sadhana bhakti. If we want to see whether our bhakti is sadhana bhakti or not, or we are doing something else, then we should check these two criteria, which Rupa Goswami is saying. Thousands of people will tell you that this is called sadhana bhakti, that is called sadhana bhakti, this activity is sadhana bhakti, that is sadhana bhakti. But we should only understand it directly from the acharya who has defined it. Okay, what he is defining. So he is defining two criteria only. Should be action of the senses. Second, it should be with the attainment, with the goal of attaining bhav. Okay, these are the only two criteria which Rupa Goswami has given as definition. Okay, any other criteria you see here in the definition? Okay, these two only, right? So first, we should see, are we doing the action of the senses? And is our action of senses done with a goal of attaining bhava? If these two criteria fulfill, then we should understand we are doing sadhana bhakti. We don't have to get the certificate from anybody in this world. Okay. So then our bhakti will be sadhana bhakti. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Please read, Prabhu. Yeah. Chaitanya Prabhu.
How can definition of sadhana bhakti? How can sadhana bhakti, which is performed using senses which are impure, be categorized under uttama bhakti? Actions
So
of the
this,
senses.
yeah. Continue. Yeah. Complete this. Yeah.
The actions of the senses are included within the term bhakti in the same manner that preliminary purifying actions for performing sacrifice are included within the term sacrifice, though technically they are not part of the sacrifice.
Yeah, so this is the example, this is a commentary of Jiva Goswami. Okay, so this is the example Jiva Goswami or analogy which he takes and makes us understand. Okay, this very important question, right? So even though we may study it 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, still after some years this doubt again will come. Somebody will tell something, again we will doubt. Yeah, I think I am not doing Uttama Bhakti. Yeah, what he is saying is correct only. I am not pure in heart. Actually, yeah, correct. Yeah. So these things will again keep coming. So that's why the very first thing Jiva Goswami is writing in the commentary is this, that how is it possible that the sadhana bhakti which started from which stage? Where does it start from?
Shraddha.
Shraddha.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Starts from Shraddha. Okay. So the person has just started the bhakti. Okay. And it's being performed with his senses. The senses himself itself, they are impure. It has not got purified. There are so many anarthas. Correct. Lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, pride. And Bhagavad Gita says, where are they sitting? They are sitting in three places. The senses is one of them. Mind, another, like that. So the senses are surely impure. The anarthas are still present. So how can Rupa Goswami do this to keep it under Uttama Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti means highest level of Bhakti. How is he doing all this? Okay. So he gives an analogy to make us understand this very important question. He says what? See, action of the senses are included within the term Bhakti. Which Bhakti? Which Bhakti we are talking in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Whenever the term Bhakti will come,
Uttama
which
Bhakti.
Bhakti it will mean?
Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama Bhakti. Okay. So it will always mean Uttama Bhakti because Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu does not define anything below Uttama Bhakti. Why? Why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is not defining anything below Uttama Bhakti? What is the problem? Why Rupa Goswami is fearing to define anything below Uttama Bhakti? Does he not know? What is the problem? Because
He,
the man, tell.
he like my understanding, like he is the follower of Lord Chaitanya. So
Okay,
the Lord
good.
Chaitanya is appeared to distribute the Raga Bhakti.
Okay, good. So
that's why he's defining about the Uttama Bhakti and Raga Bhakti.
okay, tell something from what we have studied till now. First chapter we studied, we answered this question. Okay, tell from
Because
that.
to
Yeah.
define something, we should start with something pure or which is complete within.
Okay. I will answer. Okay. So basically, Rupa Goswami is defining it. We discussed one point that prema or the rasa can only be appearing if we practice Uttama Bhakti. Other forms of bhakti will not give rise to rasa. And what is the name of the book?
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Bhakti Rasa
Rasamrita Sindhu.
Amrita Sindhu. Rasa has to be there, na? It cannot be absent. Correct. That is main ingredient. The ocean is made up of that only. Correct. So that's why the bhakti term, wherever it comes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we have to assume, okay, by default it is Uttama Bhakti, unless it is told that this is mixed bhakti, okay, like that. Otherwise, it is always Uttama Bhakti. Now we will read this analogy and understand. So action of the senses are included within the term bhakti. Which bhakti? Uttama Bhakti. So action of the senses are happening in Uttama Bhakti. That's why Rupa Goswami told now in the definition itself. Kriti sadhya bhavet bhava sa sadhana abhida. Action of the senses only are performed to attain sadhya bhava. The bhava is the sadhya. Okay. So now in the same manner, what is the analogy? He says, just like that preliminary purifying actions of the performing of sacrifice are included within the term sacrifice. Just like we go for a sacrifice. So what are the preliminary purifying actions done? So we have to get the ingredients first of all. Then we have to do purification of the ingredients. Correct. We have to make the yagya kund. Correct. Then we have to purify the asana. Then we have to ourselves do the achmana. Then we have to do bhuta shuddhi. All these things we do in general deity worship before we go to deity worship. Correct. So when does the deity worship start? It's not only when we start rotating the deepa or dhupa like that. It starts when we start with the all the purification process. Achmana we have done. We have taken bath, weared fresh cloth. All that included in deity worship. Okay. Similarly, the sacrifice, when does it start? All the preparations, purifying actions for performing the sacrifice are done. They are also included in the main sacrifice. So what is the main sacrifice here referred to as? in this analogy? What is this preliminary purifying actions referred to, and what is main sacrifice referring to?
Sadhana is the preliminary and sacrifice is bhava and prem.
Yeah, bhav only, not prem. Bhav is the goal of sadhana bhakti. Okay. So basically, if we have to exactly say in this analogy, we should say here Uttama Bhakti. See what he is saying, action of the senses are included in the term Uttama Bhakti, right? Action of the senses are included in Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama Bhakti.
So similarly, preliminary purifying actions are included into main sacrifice. So preliminary are action of the senses. Okay,
Sadhana.
correct. Action of the senses are included into bhakti. This is what actually Jiva Goswami is saying. Very simple terms. Just matching each part. Okay, part 1 is action of the senses. Part 2 was bhakti. Here part 1 is action of the senses. And part 2 is bhakti. What is that? Sacrifice is bhakti. Referring to preliminary purification actions are action of the senses, right? Action of the senses is defined as what? What did Jiva Goswami define it as now? Just before this, in the definition. What is action of the senses?
Sadhana Bhakti.
Yeah, this is sadhana bhakti,
Sadhana.
not sadhana. Okay,
Sadhana Bhakti.
sadhana bhakti. Yeah. By hopefully by the end of this wave, we will understand to how to pronounce this. Okay, sadhana bhakti. Okay, and that is included into the sacrifice. That is uttama bhakti. Okay. So sadhana bhakti is included into uttama bhakti, analogy of the sacrifice we have to remember. Okay. So anybody says, how are you saying all this? Please read Jiva Goswami's commentary to the verse. Okay. Yeah. So here Jiva Goswami explained uttama bhakti has been described, whatever in the shloka we discussed, in a general way. When bhakti is cultivated sadhya by what? Action of the senses. Okay. So we discussed two characteristics of sadhana bhakti. What was the two characteristic? Action of the senses. And the goal is to attain bhava. Okay. So that is what is described here. Please read this last part. Are you able to see?
In order to distinguish this sadhana bhakti from
Yeah.
forms of bhakti that involve direct realization of the Lord, the word sadhya bhav is used. Sadhana ends with the attainment of bhav.
Yeah. I'll remove this. Yeah. So he's saying in order to distinguish what sadhana bhakti from other forms of bhakti, that is bhava bhakti, prem bhakti, that involve direct realization, correct? Bhava bhakti also there is direct realization, but there are some impurities, so it is not continuous. Prem bhakti it is continuous. The word sadhya bhava is used. Where it is used? In the definition. Correct. You saw the definition? What came there? See. Sadhya bhava. Okay. This is what Jiva Goswami is saying in the commentary. Okay. Kriti sadhya bhavet. Kriti sadhya becomes what? Bhava. Sadhya bhava. Okay. The sadhya, the goal is bhava. Sa sadhana abhida. That lady, sa, is called sadhana. Sadhana abhida. Abhida is called. That lady is called sadhana. Which one? In which kriti sadhya bhavet, sadhya bhava, in which action of the senses become bhav. That lady, that sadhana bhakti is called, okay, that is called sadhana bhakti. Yeah. And then he says sadhana ends with the attainment of bhav. Till where sadhan we have to do? Till when we have to do? Somebody asks. We have to do till we attain bhav. Why? Because that is the goal. When you attain the goal, the means stop. Okay. The sadhana bhakti will stop. The angas will continue of sadhana bhakti. Smaranam. Okay. Basically all the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Ancharam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmini Nivedanam. Everything will continue. But it will not be to attain bhav because that already we attained. Correct. Bhav already attained. Then sadhana will stop. Yeah, please read.
If bhav is created by sadhana bhakti, then how can it be spiritual? Bhav is not created, it is eternally present within the heart of the jiva. Practice of sadhana bhakti only helps to remanifest the bhav within the heart. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens.
Okay. So now Jiva Goswami further asks a question. Okay, if bhav is created, you are telling bhav will be created by action of the senses, sadhana bhakti. How can it be spiritual? How can something spiritual be created? So, Jiva Goswami, this is a basically Puru Paksha argument. Somebody may raise this question, an argument. So, where is the answer of this? Answer is given in the verse, in the definition. Okay, in that verse, the answer was given. What was the answer? Nitya siddhasya bhavasya. That is the answer to the opposition argument. That it is not created, it is nitya, siddha, eternally present. Okay, where is it present? Within the heart of the jiva. Okay. So practice of sadhana bhakti only helps to re-manifest the bhav within the heart. Okay, so sadhana helps to re-manifest in the heart. Hridi prakatyam, just like the sun rises. Like that. Okay. So what is the reference? Jiva Goswami quotes this from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya siddha Krishna prem साध्य कबुनाय श्रवणादि शुद्ध चित्ते करिय उदय. So he says Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem is Nitya Siddha. Krishna Prem is Nitya Siddha. It is eternally established. Okay. Sadhya Kabunaya. It is never to be gained, attained by doing something. Kabunaya, never. It is never to be attained by doing something. How will one attain then one? Oh Prabhu, then we can never attain Krishna Prem, then why are we doing action of the senses? Action of the senses we are doing to attract the mercy of Krishna. When Krishna becomes merciful, then he will award us bhava, prema. We will not attain by our action of the senses. But that is done to seek the mercy of Krishna. Bhava or prema will be attained only by their mercy. Okay. So here he is saying, Sadhya Kabunaya. It is not something to be gained. So please don't be under this impression that I will do so much sadhana that I will attain prema in this life only. I will do so much sadhana, then within 1 year I will gain bhav. No, it doesn't work like that in a formula. Okay. There is no formula. Last section, the specialities of bhakti itself, Rupa Goswami told, Bha Bhakti Sudurlabha, very rare. In what way it is very rare? It is very rare in two ways, he told. If you don't have asakti, it is very rare. If you have asakti also, it is very rare. Means it is like head also I lose and tail also I lose. What is? I will not do bhakti only. Okay. With asakti also you are telling like sometimes children say, no, no, I will not play. You are cheating. You are cheating. I will not play this. I am going home. Like that, some devotees may think. If I have asakti also, I will not attain. If I don't have asakti also, I will not attain. Better not do only anything. Better do karma. Enjoy. At least I will go to heaven. There I will enjoy a little bit. Yeah, he also wants to read it since. Okay, so what I was saying, yeah. So basically, there we studied that it will come by mercy. Okay, the bhava bhakti will come by mercy. Similarly, here it is saying sadhya kabunaya. It is never to be gained by your endeavor. You should not think that I will attain it. Okay, so I will make a calendar by the end of this year. like this, like this, like this. I will go from Shraddha to Asakti, and then next immediately I'll attain Bhav. It will not happen like that. That's why the word is called Sadhya Kabuna. So by this one should not think that I should not do only bhakti, because anyhow it cannot be attained. That is not the meaning here. Okay. Shravan Adi. So if it is not to be attained, then why next line is saying Shravan Adi? All the these angas of bhakti, Shravan Kirtanam, Shravan Adi, Shuddhe, purify chitta, chitte, in a purified heart, purified chitta, Karaya Udaya, it will appear by mercy of Krishna or sadhus, by Krishna or devotees. Okay, so we will see this in the third wave. Bhava Bhakti chapter when we will read, na? There it will be told how it is attained. There he will not say that you do action of senses for these many lifetimes, you will get Bhava. He will not say. He will tell the cause of attaining Bhava is these two only. Okay. Krishna tad bhakta karunya matra ek labhai ka hetu ka. He will say. Obviously, that is for Raganuga also, he says, but Bhava Bhakti also same thing he says. Krishna tad bhakta karunya. Only two ways are there. Krishna, mercy of Krishna, tad bhakta, his devotees, karunya, mercy. Okay, just follow this simple method. Okay, so then one will attain. Yeah, so this is what he says as a reference. Why did he give this reference? To say that it is not created for this point. It is eternally present. Okay, it is Nitya Siddha. This okay. Yeah, please read this.
Yes. Definition of sadhana bhakti. To say that bhav appears is like saying Krishna appears in the house of Vasudev, but is not produced out of matter. The emotions and actions of bhava are all eternal and spiritual and not material, because their appearance in the future will be accomplished by the extraordinary actions of the most excellent transformations of the Lord's Swarupa Shakti. If bhav is eternally present within the heart of the jiva, then what is the meaning of Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij? It means that one attains the sadhan by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes, dormant devotional service to Krishna is within everyone. Simply by associating with devotees, hearing their good instructions, and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, dormant love for Krishna is awakened. In this way, one acquires the seed of devotional service. Guru Krishna Prasad Paye Bhakti Lata Bij.
Yeah. So now Rupa Goswami says, then we should understand Bhava is not created, it appears. Example, Krishna appears in the house of Vasudev or in the jail actually. Okay, in the house of Vasudev that way. But he is not produced basically. He appears. Okay. When does he appear? Whenever he wants to appear by his own sweet will. Like that. So similarly, the emotions and actions of the Bhava are all eternal. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. Okay. So Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabun hai. It is never to be attained by endeavors. Okay. They are all eternal, spiritual and non-material. Okay. So how will they appear? It will be accomplished in future by extraordinary actions of Swarupa Shakti. Which are those? Samvit and Haladini Shakti. Okay. By these Shaktis it will appear in the heart. So the question Jiva Goswami or the basically Puru Paksha may ask, okay, if it is eternally present within the heart, Then why is it said Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij? What did Guru and Krishna give if the or Jiva already had Bhakti in his heart? Okay, so it means that one attains sadhana by mercy of Guru and Krishna. The process of sadhana bhakti. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he attains the sadhana bhakti. Then by doing sadhana, what he will attain? Sadhya bhava. Okay, that is bhava he will attain, which is the goal of sadhana bhakti. Okay, so Prabhupada also explains that devotional service is dormant in everyone. Okay, and future he will give one example, just like a child. He walks, he learns to walk. So the walking ability is dormant in the child. The child does not fly. Why? Because that is not dormant in the child. Child can walk. Why? Because it is dormant in the child. Okay. And he will also say, child will walk only when he practices to walk. It's not that he keeps throwing his legs and hands on the bed and suddenly one day he will walk. So prescribed actions need to be done for him to start walking. Practice. Proper prescribed practice has to be done for him to walk. Okay. Similarly, proper prescribed actions called sadhana bhakti has to be done to start attaining bhava or prem. That is the meaning that Prabhupada will tell in the future. So what Guru and Krishna give here is meaning a sadhana bhakti they give. Yeah, please read.
Srila Prabhupada on definition of sadhana bhakti, practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. Therefore, devotional service in practice means utilizing our different sensory organs in service to Krishna. Kriti Sadhya. Practice means employing both mind and the senses in a practical devotional service. Kriti Sadhya. This practice is not for developing something artificial. For example, a child learns or practices to walk. This walking is not unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child, and simply by a little practice, he walks very nicely. Similarly, devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the natural instinct of every living entity.
So basically, Prabhupada is saying what statements is mapped with the definition Rupa Goswami has given. First is mapping with Kriti Sadhya, implying our senses, correct? To develop Bhava Bhakti. Practice means employing both the mind and senses, right? So Gyanendriya, Karmendriya, 5 plus 5, 10. 10 plus 1, mind 11. All 11 are engaged, Kriti Sadhya, engaging all of them in the seva. So sometimes we do seva only with senses, mind is somewhere else. Okay. So that may not be called as like bhakti, sadhana bhakti. Okay. So the practice is not for developing something artificial. The child cannot start flying. That is what he is saying. So we cannot do something to attain bhava. We have to do properly prescribed sadhana bhakti. Okay, now Rupa Goswami will define what is sadhana bhakti, 64 limbs he will give. These all you do, you will attain bhava. Okay, he will tell. Okay, so that's what Prabhupada is telling. This example we discussed already. Yeah, please read.
Even uncivilized men like the abori- aborigines,
Aborigines, yeah.
aborigines offer their respectful obeisances to something wonderful exhibited by nature's law, and they appreciate that behind some wonderful exhibition or action there is something supreme. So this consciousness, though lying dormant in those who are materially contaminated, is found in every living entity, and when purified, this is called Krishna consciousness. There are certain prescribed methods for employing our senses and mind in such a way that our dormant consciousness for loving Krishna will be invoked, as much as the child with a little practice can begin to walk. When we wish to develop our innate capacity for devotional service, there are certain processes which, by our accepting and executing them, will cause that dormant capacity to be invoked. Such practice is called sadhana bhakti.
Yeah, very, very important. What Prabhupada is saying, especially this last part that I already discussed. Prabhupada is writing also again here. So we will come to that. First, Prabhupada is saying even uncivilized men, like Adivasi, some people living in, suppose, some deep forest in Amazon or somewhere. They also identify, oh, sun is very, very respectful. Okay, sun is very, very powerful. Like that, they have some worship of sun, maybe, or some mountain or some tree. They automatically from inside they get that instinct. Nobody has taught them, you should worship this, you should do this. But they automatically feel like that. Why? Because Prabhupada is saying this point because that's natural, it is within. Okay, it is already present within that tendency to think that somebody has created all this. There is some God. That is natural to the living entity. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So this consciousness, though lying dormant, which consciousness? Nitya siddhasya bhavasya, lying dormant in those who are materially contaminated, is found in every living entity, and when purified, this is called Krishna consciousness. Okay. So now, very important thing Prabhupada is saying that certain prescribed actions should be done. That is referring to what? Sadhana bhakti. Not that we start doing whatever our mind says and we will think we will attain bhav. See, I am doing action of my senses and I have a goal also to attain bhav. So I will attain bhav. No, it's not like that. Those action of the senses should also be done in a way which is prescribed. Just like the child cannot throw his hands and legs and tell that I will start walking. Some proper practice has to be done, but he has to catch the wall and then try to walk. Then he will learn to walk. Okay, similarly, Prabhupada is saying certain prescribed methods should be done, and then under them, employing our senses our will bring out our dormant Krishna consciousness for loving Krishna. That will be invoked only by doing this prescribed actions. 64 limbs of bhakti, like that. And same thing he says here. When we wish to develop our innate capacity, that is bhava bhakti, devotional service, then there are certain processes which by our accepting and executing them will cause the dormant capacity to be invoked. Okay. So such practice is called sadhana bhakti. Okay. Such bhakti is called sadhana bhakti, prescribed actions. So Prabhupada also gives the example of therapeutic medicines. You can read in the second chapter of NOD. So particular medicine has to be given for a particular disease. Then only that person will be cured. He cannot take the medicine of the person who is in the next bed. He cannot say, oh, this is very sweet, I will take this only. He will not be cured. So that example Prabhupada gives. He has to take the medicine prescribed for him. That's when he will get cured. Similarly, if we have to get cured, we cannot do just some action by our mind and think that I will attain bhava, I'll get purified. It doesn't happen like that. We have to do what is prescribed by Rupa Goswami. Okay. So now he goes to the next verse. What is the proof for whatever definition is given till now? So we will see always the acharyas give proof. Like Uttama Bhakti, he gave proof from Narad Bhakti Sutra. Correct. Sarvupadi vinirmuktam. Correct. Tatparatvena nirmalam. Correct. Like that he gave definition. First Uttama Bhakti, then gave a proof. Then now he gave definition of Sadhana Bhakti. Now immediately he'll give a proof. Okay. So what is the proof? Sa. That which was defined, Sa Bhakti, Saptama Skandhe. Which one he defined just now? Sadhana Bhakti defined, right? So that Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Saptama Skandhe, seventh canto, Bhangya, in a distorted way or indirect way, Devarshi Narada Udita. Okay, Devarshi Narada, he has spoken, Udita. So, yeah, please read.
Narada speaks of sadhana bhakti along with items that seem to be bhakti in the seventh canto.
Yeah.
Therefore, by enmity, by Vaidhi bhakti, by fear, by affection, or by lusty desire, by all of these or any one of them, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same for the Lord, because of his blissful position is never affected by enmity or friendship.
Yeah, so he quotes this 7:126. The verse spoken by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He said, Tasmat, therefore, Vairanu nirvairena bhayena va, snehat kamena va yunjat, kathanchit na ikshate prithak. So you do vaira, enmity, or nirvaira, this is the Vaidhi Bhakti, which is part of Sadhana Bhakti. This is a part of focus for proving that this is existing in the scriptures. It's not from the mind of Rupa Goswami. It is existing in the scriptures. Where is the proof? 7.126. Which is the word? Nirvairena. Without enmity. Without enmity means what? Anukulyena. Correct. Favorableness. So that's how he says it's the proof. And there are, along with this, other things are also said. Bhayena. By fear, like Kamsa. Snehat. Kamena. Affection. Lusty desire. Okay, all these other things. So somebody may worship Krishna. That also is called as bhakti. But those are not actually favorable ways. Okay, they are all unfavorable ways, and that actually is not called as bhakti. But among all this actually is bhakti, nirvairena. This is actually bhakti. All other are what? Bhangya. Seem to be bhakti. Okay, like fear, enmity, all these seem to be bhakti, but actually they are not bhakti. But only one term is bhakti in this, that nirvairena. That is our focus. Yeah, please read.
Bhangya, along with items that seem to be bhakti. If fear and hatred are also considered bhakti, then there is a contradiction to the definition already given that bhakti should be with favorable intentions, anukullena. Therefore, for describing these items, the author uses the word bhangya, which means along with something resembling bhakti. Since he grants auspiciousness even when persons show fear or envy towards him, who would not worship the Lord. That
Yeah.
is the meaning of the statement.
So this whole thing is spoken by Narada Muni to show glory of Krishna, because the question of Yudhishthira Maharaj was that why the Lord is so partial. He just actually heard the pastime of Diti and Indra, how Diti was praying that Indra should be killed, and then Indra actually entered the womb of Diti and cut the womb into 49 parts, and then came out as Maruts. All that he heard, Parikshit Maharaj, and then he was asking how the Lord can be partial. So Sukadev Goswami is answering by the conversation of Narad Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj that Lord is not partial. He even gives liberation to Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. That's how Prahlad Maharaj story will start. That he gave liberation to Hiranyakashipu also, like that. So that is the whole thing. So he is saying this shloka for the purpose of that even somebody doing bhakti by fear or enmity like Kamsa, Shishupal, he gives liberation to them. So he is not partial. That is a whole section. But it is he taken, this word is taken nirvairena, without without enmity. That means with favorableness as a proof. Okay. So these other things are said here. Why? Because Krishna gives liberation to everyone, whomever, whether he kills or he loves. Liberation guaranteed. That is the section. That Krishna is not partial. He gives liberation to everybody. Okay. Next shloka. Okay. Somebody else can read. Not read. Yeah, Vrajanand Krishna Prabhu, you want to read?
Scriptural proof for sadhan bhakti. Therefore, one may somehow think of Krishna by any of the favorable methods. Fixing the mind also stands for the activities of all the other senses and thus includes sadhana bhakti. Use the word kena, any, means any suitable method excluding fear and hatred. One's mind should concentrate by using one of the favorable methods, such as affection. That is the meaning.
Yeah, so next verse, Rupa Goswami says, Tasmat, therefore, kenapi, somehow or other, upayena, okay, manaha, Krishne niveshayet. What one should do? Mana should be Krishne niveshayet, should be engrossed or engaged into Krishna, somehow or other. Okay. So he says basically out of fear or out of enmity or without enmity, you choose anything and you engage it in Krishna, you will attain liberation. Like that, Narad Muni is saying. So Krishna is not partial. He gives liberation, you do any method. Like that he is saying. So Rupa Goswami is saying fixing in the mind on Krishna is correct, but we should avoid other methods like enmity, hatred and all, because that is not under Uttama Bhakti. Anukulyana will not be there. Okay. Yeah, please read this.
Narad Muni mentions this
Yeah,
sadhana
Srila
Bhakti.
Prabhupada's comment on this. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada on proof of sadhana bhakti. Narad Muni mentioned this sadhana bhakti in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 32. He says that King Yudhishthir, my dear king, one has to fix his mind on Krishna by any means. This is called Krishna consciousness. It is the duty of the Acharya, the spiritual master, to find the ways and means for his disciple to fix his mind on Krishna. That is the beginning of sadhana bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us an authorized program for this purpose, centered around the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. This chanting has so much power that it immediately attaches one to Krishna. That is the beginning of sadhana bhakti. Some or other, one has to fix his mind on Krishna. The great saint Amrish Maharaj, although a responsible king, fixed his mind on Krishna. And similarly, anyone who tries to fix his mind in this way will very rapidly make progress in successful reviving the original Krishna consciousness.
So Prabhupada is giving these comments that somehow or other one has to fix his mind on Krishna by any means. Okay, this is Krishna consciousness. Definition of Krishna consciousness he gives like this. And what is the prime method he is saying? Chanting. That is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So by chanting, what will happen? It is so much powerful that immediately one will get attached to Krishna. Okay, like that. And one will rapidly make progress like that and become successful. Now Rupa Goswami goes to the next verse. He says, next verse, 5th verse, Vaidhi Raganuga Cha iti Sa Dvidha Sadhana Abhidha. Okay, sadhana, which was defined earlier. Okay, it has two types. Okay, there are two types of sadhana bhakti. What are they? First is Vaidhi. Vaidhi. Second is Raganuga. Raganuga. Okay, Vaidhi and Raganuga. These are the two types of sadhana bhakti. So one thing to note here, just like we saw Uttama Bhakti has three types. Sadhan, Bhav and Prem. Similarly, Sadhan now has two types. Okay. So under Uttama Bhakti, what was the category? Sadhan Bhakti. Under Sadhan Bhakti, there are two categories. Vaidhi and Raganuga. Okay. So Sadhan Bhakti starts from where? Shraddha to Asakti. So Vaidhi, Raganuga, both are also into that region only. It's not that Raganuga will start when one reaches Bhav Bhakti. It is spontaneous, Prabhuji. One has to become Bhav Bhakta to start Raganuga Bhakti. That is not how Rupa Goswami is saying. Okay. So Rupa Goswami is saying Raganuga also is a practice. Just like Vaidhi Bhakti is a practice, Raganuga also is a practice. Okay. Why it is not Bhav Bhakti? How can it be Bhav Bhakti if the goal of Sadhana Bhakti is Bhav Bhakti? Then how something which is part of Sadhana Bhakti, that is Raganuga, which is a practice, itself be the part of Sadhya, goal only. Okay. So generally devotees have this misconception that Raganuga is very high level, Prabhuji. Yeah, it is high level, but it is not high level in the sense it goes and merges into Bhav Bhakti or Prema Bhakti. Okay. That doubt should be clear. Okay. Any questions till now?
Hare Krishna.
Okay. We will go ahead. So definition of Vaidhi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you said in the definition of sadhan bhakti, there should be two things like action of the senses and the goal of attaining bhava.
Yeah.
So, means how can we keep the goal? Like, we have to practice with the senses, that's it. But should we have the goal also?
Yeah, that Rupa Goswami said, na, like that both the things should be there.
No, no. As a practitioner, what should be our practice? Like, only to do the devotional service with the senses, right? But along with that, we should have the goal also, like that I want
Hmm.
to attain bhav.
Correct. We should have. So what is the question?
That only is the confusion. Like, should we have the goal or we should just do the devotional service, like with our
Okay.
senses?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, when we are trying to just like I gave some one example, somebody want to become a doctor or engineer. So should he just study or should he have a goal while studying?
Yeah, there should be a goal
Why there should be goal?
because that is he wants to achieve. Like, that is the reason he is into that study.
Okay. So if he does not have goal, then what is the problem in just studying?
It will be like useless if we study without a goal.
Okay. So okay, what will happen is he will not be able to make appropriate choices also at certain time. Like suppose he has to go into medical science, then he has to make a decision, na, after 10th standard where which subject he has to check, which if he wants to go into a accountant, okay, then he has to give up science and take to uh, the other subject, commerce. Okay, so he will not be fixed in goal. Then how will he make choices? Okay, that is first problem. Second thing, if we don't have a goal, how will we attain it? What will we attain then? Why we are doing it? So it's very simple that any living entity does something for attaining something. It is very, very natural. Nothing anybody does for nothing. Okay. Everything is done with some purpose. So in that way, bhakti also should be done with a purpose. Okay. We say our purpose is to please Guru and Krishna. That is right. But why you want to please Guru and Krishna? To have what? That is bhava bhakti. Okay. So what Rupa Goswami is saying is this simple thing that do the action of the senses and with a goal of attaining bhava bhakti. Then it is called sadhana bhakti. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, but
Hmm.
like how we should means how should we make our mind achieve goal? That is the
Okay,
confusion.
okay. How to practically you are asking to have
Yes,
this?
correct, correct.
Okay,
Yes,
in theory we understand. Okay, I want to attain bhava, but practically
yes.
how to do it in every
Hmm.
day?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So that's what we. Okay, generally we say okay in the morning we want to attain Krishna prema, right? The goal of whatever we are doing is Krishna prema, correct? So when we are doing any our activity, any of our activities, any of the limb of the bhakti, so that time we should have this. It need not be a constant thought, I would say. Or while we are chanting every mantra, we have to think that yes, I am doing this to attain bhava bhakti. Not like that. We should be absorbed into doing that anga of bhakti, whether it is chanting, hearing, reading, whatever. We should be absorbed into doing. But overall, like the thought should be or the goal should be that I want to advance in bhakti, next stage of bhakti, whichever I am. Okay. From that, I want to go into the next stage of bhakti. I want to progress in bhakti and then finally attain bhava bhakti. Okay. Just like anybody, any student, he wants to get into IIT. So he cannot every moment keep thinking while solving maths problem. Yes, I want to get into IIT more than solving the problem itself. Your understanding overall goal should be there. Or while driving a car, one cannot constantly keep meditating on the goal, but one has to also focus on immediate goals like shraddha, then it will come next stage, sadhu sangha, then bhajan kriya, then anath nivritti. Next stage, at least next step at least should be there in the mind, that I am trying to progress towards that. Okay, so while driving a car, so person has to know about the goal, otherwise he will never reach. He will take so many turns here and there. If the Google map, there is no destination put, where will he go? Where will the Google map take him? Okay, somewhere he will be driving, but he will not reach because there is no goal destination set like that. So while we are driving towards the destination, we constantly don't keep seeing the destination. We see where is the left turn next, where is the right turn next, where is the straight road, how long I have to go on the straight road, like that. So that is what here it's being said, that the goal, the prime goal should be there in the mind, but it should not be forgotten. Okay. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hmm. Okay. So now after defining sadhana bhakti and telling that it has two types. First is Vaidhi, second is Raganuga. Rupa Goswami chooses to define Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Okay. Vaidhi sadhana, Uttama bhakti. Okay. So he is saying Tatra Vaidhi Yatra Ragana Vaptatvat Pravrittir Upajayate Sashaneneva Shastrasya Savaidhi Bhaktir Uchyate. Yes, Prabhuji, please read the translation.
Where the actions of bhakti arise not from the attainment of a raga, but by the teachings of scriptures, is called Vaidhi Bhakti.
Yeah. So he says where the actions of the bhakti arise, Yatra Raga. Okay, let's define from here. Yeah. Yatra Raga Anavaptatvat. Where Raga is absent, Anavaptatvat. Okay. Okay, not from the attainment of Raga. Okay, Raga is not yet one has attained. Raga means spontaneous attraction is Raga. Okay, what is Raga? Raga is defined as spontaneous attraction towards whom? Ishte Swarasiki Paramavishtata. Tadlobamai Shraddha Raga Uchyate. Okay, Ishte means towards the worshipable. Swarasiki, naturally, automatically. Paramavishtata yo bhavet. Okay, when there is paramavishta, complete engrossment into the goal, that is Krishna, attainment. Okay, naturally, complete absorption into Krishna is called raga. Okay, this is a complete definition. Okay, of raga, which will come in the future in this way only. Sadhana Bhakti, when Rupa Goswami defines raga nuga, first he will define raga. Then he will say, Krishna, okay, ishte swarasiki paramavishtata, raga bhavet. Okay. So in simple words, I'm saying spontaneous attraction. Okay, this is raga. This is absent. When this is absent, where this is absent, but still pravritti, there is action of the senses. Nivritti means no action. Pravritti means action of senses. Still there are action of senses. Even though there is no spontaneous attraction, but still one is seeing action of the senses produced, upajayate. So question should be asked, that there is no attraction for him in Krishna, for into him for Krishna. Why is he doing chanting, reading, hearing, and all these things for Krishna? He doesn't love Krishna. That is very clear. He doesn't. He has not got love for Krishna. He has not got raga, spontaneous attraction for Krishna. But still, he is doing all these things. We have to find out what is the reason. So Rupa Goswami says, "Sashanena eva." Somebody is doing sashana. Okay, who is doing sashana? शास्त्र शास्त्र के शासन के द्वारा शास्त्र के शासन के अंदर okay by the teachings or the rules of the scripture he is doing under the sway of or force of the rules of the scripture. Okay, shasan means authority or under the rules. Okay, so there is no spontaneous attraction in him for Krishna, but every day he is chanting 16 rounds 2 hours he is giving. Okay, there is no attraction for Krishna. He is still every day doing his reading and attending Bhakti Shastri classes Saturday, Sunday, keeping video on like that. Okay, there is no attraction so much, but still one is doing. Why? So, Sashane Neva Shastra, because there is some compulsory rule has been enforced on that. So that's why it is happening. When this is seen, again, paribhasha is being given of Vaidhi Bhakti. Sa Vaidhi Bhakti Uchyate. So anywhere this is seen, it is Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay, these are the characteristics of Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay. this will not be seen anywhere else. Okay, that is the meaning of definition, right? We discussed. So if this is seen anywhere else, that is also Vaidhi Bhakti. And what is the purpose of this Vaidhi Bhakti? Why somebody is doing this Vaidhi Bhakti now? Why somebody is
Attain,
doing Vaidhi Bhakti?
attain bhav.
Ah,
Goal is
yeah,
bhav.
very good. Yeah, it is to attain bhav only. Why? Because it is part of which bhakti?
Uttama bhakti.
No, this is not correct. Previous was correct. This answer is not correct. Part of sadhana bhakti. Obviously, uttama bhakti indirectly, but direct answer is sadhana bhakti. Bhav is goal of which bhakti? Sadhana bhakti. Uttama bhakti has all three: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti. But bhav is goal of sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti has two types: Vaidhi and Raganuga. So Vaidhi also should have what goal? Bhav only. And Raganuga also what should be the goal? Bhav only. Okay. So these basics should be clear always. Okay. Basics should always be kept in mind. So most of us will fall into this definition of bhakti which we are doing under the instruction of Shastra. Now somebody may say, no, but I gave a promise to my guru that I will chant 16 rounds, follow four regulative principles. I am doing it by him, not by Shastra. But where did the guru learn this from? He learnt it from the Shastra only. Shastra only says, correct, that one should Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Correct, like that it says. So for sadhana stage, it is dovetailed 2 hours you chant or 16 rounds you chant, whatever. But Shastra only saying, na, do these things. Correct. So Shastra is the center. Okay, that's what we have discussed very, very beginning of the sessions. Shastra is center of all. So Shastra is governing. Okay. Yeah, please read this. Jeev Goswami's commentary.
Yeah, in this definition, Vaidhi Bhakti is restricted to cases
Okay,
where
we are going to do till 7:15. We started the class late. Okay. Yeah, please continue.
Vaidhi Bhakti is restricted to cases where Bhakti is performed exclusively ever by teaching of scriptures and not with an element of rag. With the attainment of rag, there will be also some use of scriptural teaching as well, but it is not called Vaidhi Bhakti.
Yeah. So that's why definition we have to understand is when these characteristics are followed. Nothing will be missed out. And nothing extra will also come. Exactly this should happen, then it is Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay, just like sadhana bhakti, two things should happen, must happen. You cannot say only action of the senses I will do. Or you cannot say I will only keep the goal, but I will not do any action of the senses. That is not sadhana bhakti. Both should happen. Nothing should miss out. Similarly, in this also definition, when we are giving Vaidhi Bhakti, it is to be done in both the parts. What are the first part? That is action of the senses, because it is part of the Vaidhi Bhakti is part of what? Okay, that better to write here. Here also these two characteristics will be there. What? Action of senses. And then second, it should have the goal is bhava. Okay, if these two don't happen, then it is not sadhana bhakti. Where to call it as Vaidhi Bhakti? These two should happen. Plus, apart from these two, there are more conditions here. What is that? Raga, absent. Action of the senses, pravritti, already told previously. Okay. Then what else? Sashaneneva shastrasya. It should be done under the guidance, just like Prabhupada was saying, that bhakti should be done as the prescribed method. So under the guidance of Shastra or Guru, he is also guiding from Shastra only. Okay. It should be done under the guidance of Shastra. If Shastra is not followed, is it Vaidhi Bhakti? No, it is not Vaidhi Bhakti. Correct. So it is will be called as Utpate eva kalpate. Yo Shastra vidim utsrajya vartate kamakaratah. Sorry, not this. What is that? Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrikim Vidim Vina. Ekantiki Harer Bhakti Utpateva Kalpate. If you give up Shastra, Shruti, Smriti, Purana, etc., all the other Gaudiya scriptures and all, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, everything. All these things, if it is given up, But one takes to ekantika bhakti. Okay, going into something, ekantika is not like that, but it is like one pointed bhakti. It takes up. But giving up all these scriptures, then it is utpate eva kalpate. So these are the characteristics of Vaidhi Bhakti. That's what Jiva Goswami is saying here. That in this definition, Vaidhi Bhakti is restricted to cases where Bhakti is performed exclusively by teachings of scripture. Okay, Shastra must be followed. If one has given up scriptures, it is not Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay, it may be Raganuga. Okay, but we will see when it come to there. Okay, where in Raganuga scriptures may not be followed exactly, where like that, that we will see. And not with an element of raga. This was the second condition that we told, correct? So both the things. Shastra should be present and raga is absent. Then it is called Vaidhi. This is definition of Vaidhi. Okay, both has to be there. With the attainment of raga, when one attains raga, there will also be some use of scriptural teaching as well. But it is not called Vaidhi. Then it will be called as Raganuga. Okay. And he will follow the teachings of scriptures, but some he may give up. We will see when we come to it. Yeah, please read Prabhupada's comment. Yeah.
Yeah. The first part is called service according to regulative principles. One has to follow these different regulative principles by the order of spiritual master or on the strength of authoritative scriptures, and there can be no question of refusal.
Yeah, just one thing I want to clarify before you read. So this I have told in Bhagavad Gita also. These regulative principles are not four regulative principles. Okay. Here, when Prabhupada is writing here in NOD, in this context, it means Vaidhi. Vaidhi means under the guidance of scripture. So because it is regulated by scripture, that's why it is called regulative principle. So please don't think following four regulative principle is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Yeah, continue.
That is called Vaidhi or regulated. One has to do it without argument. Another part of sadhana bhakti is called Raganuga. Raganuga refers to the point at which, by following the regulative principles, one becomes a little more attached to Krishna and execute devotional service out of natural love. For example, a person engaged in devotional service may be ordered to rise early in the morning and offer arti, which is a form of deity worship. In the beginning, by the order of his spiritual master, one rises early in the morning and offer arti. But when he develops a real attachment, when he gets this attachment, he automatically tries to decorate the deity and prepare different kind of dresses and things of different plans to execute his devotional service nicely.
Okay. So here Prabhupada is defining Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Very simple words he is telling. The first part out of two parts, right? Of Sadhana Bhakti. First part is called Vaidhi. Second is Raganuga. And in that what happens? One has to follow these different regulative principles according to Shastra on the order of spiritual master. Sashanena eva Shastrasya. On the strength of authoritative scriptures, Shastra. And there can be no question of refusal. One should not say, I will not follow Shastra. Okay, this should not be taken out of context and told you cannot, you should do what I am telling. I am your authority. Okay, sometimes in management, one does like this, take out this statement and tell, see what Prabhupada is telling, I am your authority, follow me. There should be no refusal. Okay, please don't do like that or don't come under the sway of such things. Understand the context and understand what Prabhupada is trying to tell. Okay, so there will be no refusal means he should always accept Shastra. Okay, like that. This is called Vaidhi. Okay, and another part of sadhana bhakti called Raganuga. Prabhupada gives a nice example that one gets up early in the morning and then offers arti. Okay, and here out of he says natural love. We will see what this example more is when we come to the 16th chapter of NOD. There Raganuga will be described. Exactly, we'll learn what is the definition. And he says, what is the symptom of Vaidhi Bhakta? He rises early in the morning on the order of spiritual master. Okay, Shashane Neva Shastrasya, that is called Vaidhi. Okay. Now, he gave a definition of Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. So he will also give proof that he is not giving it, making up this word, making up this definition from himself, Rupa Goswami. He will give a proof. Tasmad Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichhata Abhayam. Yeah, please read, Prabhuji.
O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all the miseries.
Yeah.
Bhagavatam.
Yeah. So second canto, first chapter, Sukdev Goswami is saying, Tasmad, therefore, O King Bharata, O Parikshit Maharaj. Okay. Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Sarvatma. Three names of Bhagavan is told here. He is Sarvatma, he is Ishvara, he is Hari. Okay, so in the purport, Vishwanath Thakur says Hari is for those who are Bhakta, like that. Sarvatma is those who are yogis, Ishvaro, others, like that. Okay, Shrotavya, Kirtitavyascha. So one should do Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, all these angas of bhakti to attain abhayam, fearlessness. Therefore, so this word therefore is important. It shows that one is told to do, one should do. Like that is the point here. Why it is the proof of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? Because somebody is being told, not that Parikshit Maharaj is being told, we are being told, Vaidhi Sadhakas, on the behalf, like he is through Parikshit Maharaj. Therefore, you should do Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana if you want to attain fearlessness or kingdom of God, like that. Okay. Who's Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari? Who is Sarvatma, like that. Like that is being told. So you must do. Injunction is being given. That is given only for Vaidhi Sadhaka. Rules are for Vaidhi Sadhaka given. Yeah, please read.
A person who desires freedom from the fear of samsara must hear about the Lord. The actions of hearing, chanting, and remembering are generated from the rules of scriptures, which explain that the Lord extinguishes fear from samsara. The actions are not generated due to the greed or the Lord's service. Thus, this is example of Vaidhi Bhakti.
So there is a uh, following of scripture. Okay, to attain freedom from desires, like fear, he is saying here. And what is doing he? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, all these things is done under the rules of scripture. That's why it's called Vaidhi. Not out of greed. Greed means what? Raga. Sorry, not Raga. Lobh. Greed is Lobh. Lobh. Okay. Lobha is qualification for Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Okay, that we will see later. Lobha is qualification. Okay, for just like for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Shraddha is qualification, faith. For Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, Lobha is qualification, greed. Uh, okay, we'll just complete this purport and end. Yeah, please read this. Yeah.
One should always remember Vishnu and never forget him. All injunctions and prohibitions are dependent on these two principles.
Yeah, so this is a proof. Now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, this is a purport of Vishwanath Thakur. He is quoting this shloka. Always remember Vishnu, never forget him. For whom it is told? For somebody who does not have rag, who doesn't have a spontaneous love. Somebody who has spontaneous love, he is already doing. Like somebody need not be told, go and take gulab jamun. If it is kept, he will take automatically. He has rag for it. Similarly, here somebody is being told, that means he doesn't have spontaneous attraction. That's why he is Vaidhi. Okay. Sarva vidhi nishedha shuhu etayor evikim karaha. All rules and regulations are servant of these two rules. So remember Vishnu and never forget him. Yeah, please read. Purport.
Scriptural injections such as Aharaha Sandhya Upasita. One must worship daily at the Sandhyas, and Brahmano na hantavya. One should not kill a Brahmana or dependent kinkara. On the injunctions to remember the Lord always and prohibition never to forget him. To do the opposite, making remembrance of Vishnu secondary to all other rules, will yield opposite results.
Yeah, so if one does the opposite, he will yield opposite results. Okay.
Because all rules are dependent upon the remembrance of Vishnu. If one remembers Vishnu, what is instructed in all other rules is accomplished. And because all prohibitions such as killing cows and brahmanas are also included in the rule to remember Vishnu, if one forgets Vishnu, that person should be considered to have accrued unlimited sins produced by committing all the prohibited acts. Satata means every day, not every second. Since continuous remembrance would be impossible to do in sadhana bhakti, this would produce loss of faith in the rules of bhakti because they would be impossible to follow.
Yeah, so this we discussed earlier how Satatam for a Vaidhi sadhaka or for a sadhaka is every day. One should not think Satatam Smartavya Vishnu means Prati Chanam. But, okay, he is saying Prati Aha, Natu Chanam. Okay, not every second. Because sadhaka is not possible for him to do. Avyartha kalatvam is at the stage of bhav. Not wasting even a moment. That is at the stage of bhav. For sadhaka, what is told, you do every day remember Krishna. So otherwise one will not have faith in scripture only. Or scriptures are saying something which you cannot follow also. Like that. Okay.
We should
Yeah.
always try to mold the activities of our lives in such a way that we will constantly remember Vishnu or Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. Whether one concentrates his minds on the 400 form of Vishnu or on the form of 200 Krishna, it is same. The Padma Puran recommends somehow or other always think of Vishnu without forgetting him under any circumstances. Actually, this is the most basic of all regulative principles. For when there is an order from the superior about doing something, there is simultaneously a prohibition. When the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. Within this simple order and prohibitions, all regulative principles are found complete.
Sarvavidhi nishedhashu etayor eva kinkaraha. So in these two, always remember, never forget. Everything is included. Like that, what Prabhupada is saying. Okay, so next time, tomorrow, we will see further comments on proof of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Okay, so we'll pause here and continue tomorrow. Okay, any questions?
Tomorrow's time is 11:30 only, na?
Yeah. 11:30, yeah. Okay, so we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.